All right. So we got this thing where we're gonna do this thing today. It's a thing.
We gotta do this thing of stuff.
This stuff.
There's things we have to do.
It's fake news.
There's some stuff.
Welcome to the Buckhorn Podcast. I am Martelle, and with me always is Randy. What up, Randy?
Hello.
That's it?
That's all I got, man.
All right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out today.
It is.
And yeah, I love it. I was driving the old truck, so I had the windows down because that's my AC.
Yeah, you got that fixed?
Well, what, my windows?
No, your brake booster.
Oh, yeah. Brake booster's fixed. The master cylinder just came in finally. It was shipped separately. So
From
still got
some BFE Ford dealership in
somewhere, yeah.
small town Kansas.
Somewhere. I don't care as long as I got it. But yeah, I drove the truck and I was kind of late heading out here. So I stopped. I went to drive my old truck and it was on empty. And I hadn't had lunch. So I got to eat gas station lunch today. Ooh. Yeah. So
you had some rolly taquitos and a
they're called tornadoes now. I had 2 tornadoes and that was about 6 tornadoes more than I needed. Yeah, figure that out. I need negative gas station roller grill food. They weren't good.
They don't sound good. They sound like crispy, like meaty,
the thing
like
is,
semi-meaty, ground up, like liquefied.
Yeah, well,
dog shit.
It would have been better, except they had them in the wrong place, like that little tax for the flavors. And I thought I was going to get like a catgut supreme, but I got like rooster foot surprise or something. No, but it's funny too. That gas station, it's a Speedway on North Court Street in Circleville. My buddy and I, when we lived together, we were second shift, and we found out about midnight they would clear off whatever's on the grill.
Yeah.
Well, we got off work in Groveport at midnight. When we found out, we asked the girl that always worked the night shift, hey, if you just throw those away, can you just save them for us? Just leave them on until we get here. And we go get the like cheeseburger logs and the
that's so gross
tornadoes. Oh man, we were both like college age, batching it. Free. It was free food, and we used to get that almost every night on the way home from work.
I want to yak.
Now I eat those, and I should have got some Icebreakers breath mints or something. The Gatorades aren't washing it down.
That's gross. You probably retasting the regurgitation that's coming up from that. That is so fucking foul.
I mean, I've had worse.
Oh, that's so bad.
But other than that, it's been a great day. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Still working on my deck.
Yeah, you need to get that thing done.
Well, I'm still waiting for parts to come in. It's like working on an old car.
You should, yeah, right?
Just waiting on parts.
You got to find your parts from Prairie Ford.
Yeah. Oh, no, everything's going good. Like you said, beautiful day. Got my mowing done. Got my daily chores done.
Got your chores done.
Yeah. It's like running a farm out here.
I milked the cows and sopped the hogs.
That's right.
Mowed the field.
Fed the chickens.
Raked the hay.
Pet the diesel.
Whoa. Hey now. I want to use that in the future.
That's right.
Yeah, you want to come over? I can't. I'm busy. What are you doing?
Pet the diesel.
Got to pet the diesel.
What
are you looking at, Diesel? He's sleepy.
Got new tires on the Audi, so that's...
There you go.
You can actually grip the road now without sliding off the...
So it's less fun.
It's less fun, but it's more safe.
Yeah.
I don't have the annoying wah 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 noise going on now.
With your window squeak?
With the window squeak. Must stab you.
Oh, what we got going on today?
I don't know, not much. It's gonna kind of be a semi-scripted, unscripted kind of show. So
we have some ideas, and I have some ideas really correlate
that we're gonna go through, and then we've got.
And we're both very sleepy.
I think you have a story that you would like to share.
Yeah, I have a story I thought of that might be entertaining. I can share a little later.
And then I think we're gonna do a "What Chaps My Cheek" segment.
I'll tease it. The story is my favorite funeral ever.
Sounds interesting.
So we're kicking it off with, oh, dude, just wait. I'm telling you, it's to this day, it was over 10 years ago, I think it happened. To this day, it's by far my favorite funeral.
I can't say I've ever been to a funeral that has been my favorite.
It's the only one that I've enjoyed.
I can't say I've ever enjoyed a funeral.
Well, you weren't at this one.
Well, I wasn't at that just one. Wait. And the ones I've been to haven't been palatable. So
nice choice of words.
Right?
Man,
so
I've been listening to the last podcast on Left about serial killers and stuff and cannibals. So when you say palatable in regards to a funeral, kind of makes me wish I'd rather eat tornadoes than relate funerals and death with anything palatable.
Well, I'm using the phrase palatable as a term of not something tasty, but more of something of fun or
something that you can digest, handle
emotionally. Damn, I can't talk again today. Emotionally digestible. There you go. We have to finish each other's sentences.
That's why there's two of us.
Sentences. Emotionally digestible.
Well, I always go food with everything.
So, no, I think we'll start off with a little thing where I'm going to. It's another little game. It's kind of like that game.
Kind of like that game.
It could be rolled into that game, maybe in the future, where we're going to do a little fake news headlines where I read you a headline.
Okay.
And you tell me whether or not it is fake news or if it's real news.
Okay, so you're going to read a headline. I got some are real, some are fake then.
Some are real, some are fake. You tell me whether the news story is fake or not. I'm not going to read the news story. No one gives it. I don't give a shit whether the story is fake. We're just going straight headlines.
All right.
Kind of like how I read the news anyway.
Read the headline.
Just read the headline and be like, this is stupid.
Yeah, that's how I determine what to share on Facebook or not. I read it, and if it sounds like it might maybe be true, I share it. If it sounds ridiculous, I share it.
Right. So it's kind of like, oh, they saw a shark and they measured it to be the size of a Volkswagen from a couple episodes ago. Yeah, who gives it? Why,
I didn't need that detail. So we'll kick this off. Let's go with the first headline. Here's the first headline. Ditching tight pants improves sperm count. Ditching the party pants?
Ditching the party pants. Ditching tight pants improves your sperm count. I want to say
that is a true... real article, real news, and also, I believe it is factual.
Okay. This comes from The Onion.
That's fake?
That is fake.
So the tidy whities we talked about before are good to go.
Good to go.
You can still have babies.
Tighter the better.
The tighter the better? I
don't know about that, but... Yeah,
the tighter, the more uncomfortable.
This actually comes from The Onion. Yep. Ditching. The headline is Ditching Tight Pants Improves Sperm Count. That's from The Onion.
That background just popped up on our monitor. Really distracted me because it kind of looks like the tree in The Lion King. And the only thing popped in my head was Simba. Hope you heard last episode. Yeah, no, I that sounded real to me. It seems like something I've heard before.
Very much. I think there was at some point.
Is it like a myth then, an urban legend?
Some myth or urban legend about wearing the tidy whities. So I don't know. That's it. I'm going with fake news because it's from The Onion, and The Onion doesn't do anything real.
Notorious for just being satirical.
So there's that. All right, the next one. Shit, I lost it. I had it and I lost it. The next one. Spotify may allow unlimited ad skips for free users.
I'm going to want to say that's a publicity thing, a marketing ploy. I want to say it's a real news.
Real news?
That's my guess.
That's your guess? That also is from The Onion.
Holy crap. I'm not good at this.
You are not good at this point.
I'm slightly better at guessing disgusting sexual terms.
What is that? Stop. Oh, Lord.
I kind of liked it. It's kind of sweet.
You guys couldn't hear that, but there was some other stuff playing through the microphone or through the headphones. It
was very sensual and soothing.
Yeah, it's a video ad.
I was about to climb up on the futon to start cuddling Diesel.
Oh, he would love it.
He would.
All right, here's the next one. So you're 0-2 right now. Donald Trump Jr. gets duped by Doctored Graphic, shared it on Instagram.
Gets duped by a Doctored Graphic?
Donald Trump Jr. gets duped by Doctored Graphic, shares it on Instagram.
Dr. Graphic would be my porn name.
It would be. It'd be like, and now I just completely lost the name. Yeah, whatever.
We're both exhausted at this point.
We are.
I would say that's real. He's a Trump. I think he got duped.
Yep,
that one's real.
That one is real.
One.
That one is very much real. That one's from HuffPo.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
He did share a.
I've done that. Of course, I'm not in the public eye as much as he is. Even though we do have many listeners, I'm not quite Trump level yet. Maybe because I'm not making any money.
Maybe. Let's see. I got 2 more left here in this little.
So I'm 1 for 3 right now?
You're 1 for 3.
That's not good.
You're 1 for 3. Now these last 2, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Does God listen to Cardi B?
Oh my gosh. First off, no, he doesn't give a crap about Cardi B.
Well, that's your opinion.
That is my opinion. I will gladly say that's my opinion. It's also correct. I would say.
Well, that's like saying that grilled onions are gross. So.
Yeah, but you were wrong. My opinion's right. Your opinion was wrong.
Wow. Does God listen to Cardi B? You don't. That's your opinion.
I want this to be fake, but I feel like this is a real news article. I want it to be fake. I'm going to say it's fake.
You say it's fake?
I'm going to say it is from. Yeah, what's the Babylon Bee is a Christian themed satirical. Yep. Is that where it's from?
Nope.
Oh, but I love that. Is this real?
This is real.
Oh my gosh, I should have stuck with my gut. I really wanted that to be fake. Who wrote that?
This is another HuffPo.
Somebody got paid to write an article about whether or not God listens to
Cardi B.
She's hip hop, right? I've not listened to her.
I would consider her. She's up there with Yoko Ono.
Oh my gosh!
As far as
God definitely does not listen to Cardi B.
As far as I'm concerned, I mean, with her music talent,
her musical acumen.
Yeah.
She is not a Joe Bro.
No.
Jobro, however it's pronounced.
Joe Bro. So, and then the last one I have for you. Germany is running out of beer bottles.
I think it's real. I think it's real, and I think it's an epidemic, and we need to start a GoFundMe to raise money to get more bottles for Germany.
So you want to do a GoFundMe for Germany to get beer bottles?
Why not?
Okay.
We can do GoFundMe for everything else. People do GoFundMe for kids' school supplies, all kinds of dumb stuff. So why not buy bottles for Germany?
Okay.
I think it's a real article.
That's fake.
Yeah, go figure. I'm off with this game.
You got 1.
1 out of 5?
1 out of
20%? Yeah, I mean, I'm about 20% everything.
1 out of 6.
Below average. Oh.
1 out of 6.
Man.
Or no, 1 out of 5. Yeah, 1 out of 5.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's a solid flunk. I mean,
that is.
It's like my batting average in Little League.
Big red F.
Fine.
Right on your forehead.
I don't like this game. I like that game.
You don't like this game? You like that game?
I do like this game because it was enlightening, but it's so hard for me to determine with the lunacy that the media is, the circus that it is. I was reading a post on Facebook today, and actually Garrett shared a link, and somebody had commented, I think it was Garrett, it might have been somebody else, might have been Mike, who knows. But they were saying something about, yeah, that's why I can't talk to people who watch CNN because you can't ever tell them they're wrong. And I'm like, but all people of all like that watch, it ends up being Fox, aka Republican, versus CNN, aka Democrat.
Right.
And they always just sit there and say nobody listens to each other, and it's all a bunch of garbage. Both are they do swing one way or another politically, but they're just fueling the fire. They do not care about you.
No.
And if you're arguing, if you feel like you can't talk to somebody solely because they watch CNN, you're an idiot and you need to get off your high horse. The biggest problem is so many people know how to talk but don't know how to have a conversation. They don't know how to. They know how to argue, but they don't know how to debate. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
One of the greatest things I learned in some of the sales training I did years ago was how to listen. And what they said was, if you really think about it, you only listen to about 10% of what people say, because while they're talking, you're thinking in your mind other thoughts, what you're going to come back with, what you're going to you have a story that relates, you get reminded of. So your mind's always working. So you actually have to try to focus on listening to what they're saying.
Right.
And we don't do that. People by nature don't do that.
I only listened to about 2% of what you said. So, because I was too busy getting ready to throw you a curveball on this one.
That's it.
Should the MLB ban infield shape shifting?
No, they shouldn't. I think they should promote it. Let's get some shapeshifters in the infield. We already got angels in the outfield. I mean, baseball viewership would spike.
Right.
I guarantee it.
So is that real news or is that fake news?
Oh my gosh. That's another one I want to be fake. It goes back to little conspiracy theories we were talking about. Like the one fact that I found this week that
Randy, it's fake news.
Vladimir, it should be fake.
Say it's the Onion.
It's fake. It's from the Onion.
There you go. Good job, Randy.
Yay!
Way to go.
One bonus point on my 20% paper. Yeah, I read this week though that Vladimir Putin had caught Queen Elizabeth shape-shifting from a lizard back into whatever she is now, an old lady. I don't know, man.
You sure it wasn't Putin that wasn't shape-shifting?
I don't know. He shape-shifted, went over to Germany, stole their bottles so they could fill them with vodka. I don't know. They're all a bunch of wackadoos and nut jobs anyways, but I read these facts and I can't verify them because the only way I can do research is online, and you never know.
Nothing on the internet is real.
Because Fox
show
says
isn't even real on the internet.
Nope. Figment of your imagination.
Right?
It's real in another dimension at another time.
Even here.
If we're not here, I drove really far to be nowhere.
Yeah. Well, pretty much.
Drove 30 minutes to be not here.
You drove 30 minutes for nothing.
You need to move closer to me.
Shit. I need to move further.
Well, then we need to open a studio.
South.
That's fine. Studio is going to be in Circleville. You can fly up every week. We'll get some retail space. What happens if you move to Florida? Do we just stop?
No, we'll just figure out a way to do this over the phone.
Yeah, we'll do like last podcast on the left.
Yeah.
I think 2 of them are in New York and the other one's in L.A.
We'll just have to figure out a way to...
Their east and west will be north and south.
We'll just do a whole Skype thing. Speaking of which, we'll have to figure out how to get guests on here over Skype, but that's for another...
We need some good guest ideas.
We do.
We should start hitting people up.
Who wants to be a guest on this show?
Yeah, not that way. Because a lot of people that may want to be a guest, I don't want to have on here.
All right. So what's this story about that you want to... you said you want to tell us about?
About the funeral?
Yeah. Your favorite funeral?
Yeah. This funeral is
I've
hilarious.
Never been
to. All right. So I'll set the scene. This is back when my family and we pretty much all went to the same church. My cousins, my grandparents, everybody, aunts, uncles, and my grandma and grandpa, it's on my mom's side. They had 5 kids. So large family. And one Sunday, grandma had got news, or Saturday or something. I think it was Saturday. She got wind that her aunt passed away. Her Aunt Ethel passed away.
That is such an old name.
Oh, just wait. This whole story gets better as it goes.
All right.
So Aunt Ethel passed away, and Aunt Ethel still lived on one of the old family homesteads in Kentucky. I'd never been there. Well, Grandma's request was that any family that could accompany her do so. So the funeral was supposed to be, I think, Monday. My days may be a little mixed up. It's been, I don't know how long, 12, 15 years, something. Well, we head south. The whole family stops at Walmart in Circleville, where the old Walmart was before they built the mega one. And my cousin's going in, and you know, we didn't have a lot of time to pack clothes and stuff. And we literally, that's what it was. We found out Sunday morning at church. We all just headed out after church and decided we're going with grandma. So everybody that could called off work Monday. We all head down. And my cousin says, well, you need anything? I said, you know, clean pair of underwear would be great. I can wear church clothes to the funeral tomorrow, head back home, whatever.
Right.
I don't care. But clean drawers would be nice. So he goes in, he comes out, tosses me these underwear. Well, the first thing I notice is they're tighty-whitey. The second thing I notice is they're not so tighty because the size on them were a size I'd never seen. And I'm a big dude, right? So here I am in Walmart going, I don't think these are going to fit. So we head south, everybody in tow. We got a caravan. We get down somewhere in the friggin' bowels, the butthole of Ohio, and cross the river, go into Kentucky, and we're driving down where the highway turns from 4 lanes. You get off, you're on a 2-lane road, then you go
and that turns to dirt.
Well, no, we're still on this 2-lane paved road, and there's just nothing for miles. It's getting late by this time, and we finally end up at this hotel that they called ahead and got us reservations at. It's the closest hotel, the nicest one in the area to where the funeral is going to be, but it's still like a half hour away from where the funeral is in the church. No biggie. We'll get up the next morning, get ready at a nice hotel, and go. So as we round this curve, crest this hill in the middle of the night, I see the big glowing Motel 6 sign. So here we are in the hills of Kentucky. I to this day, I could not go back there. I don't know where it was. We all enter this Motel 6. Do they have vacancy? Of course they do, because there's nothing and nobody ever visits nowhere Kentucky. So, like I said, it's pitch black. We couldn't see much. We all get in there. And as we're unpacking, I look at the TV. And you know, if you turn on the TV, usually, or at least it used to be in a hotel, it'd be on a menu screen.
Yeah.
There's like, press the star button to order.
The hotel screen or whatever.
Right, exactly. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, I see a picture on there, and a banner scrolling across the bottom. There's no talking on this thing. It's just menu and elevator music.
Yeah.
Ethel died, and her funeral's tomorrow at this church. And that's how it said it. They had it on the freaking hotel TV screensaver thing that Aunt Ethel was dead. So we're all like, okay, we're not from down around these parts. It's kind of new to us. That wouldn't happen in Columbus, right? So we get there. I pull out those underwear I mentioned before. And you know those like novelty underwear that people used to get back in the day, the real giant ones?
Oh, yeah.
Like the old lady underwears. They weren't quite that big, but they were the largest tighty-whities I've ever seen. And over baggy jeans, they still fell off of me. So I took them and hung them up on a wall sconce in the hotel room just so everybody could see. And of course, it became a big joke. And he said, you're a big dude. I didn't know your size. So
I got you 6XL.
He bought me a hammock. It was like a cotton hammock. And yeah, so we go to bed, we're having a good time because we're family and we're kind of there for a sad reason, but none of us knew Aunt Ethel. Never met her.
Okay.
So the next day we get up and I hop in. My uncle just bought it was used, but it was only a year or two old, new to him. One of those Lexus SUVs.
Yeah.
RX 330 or whatever. Yeah. And my mom's driving, my aunt's in front, and me and one of my other aunts sitting in the back. So we all get in, we leave the hotel, and we're following to the church. We're going to the church first for a funeral, and then she's going to be buried on the old homestead where generations of some distant relatives of mine are buried. So we get going, and that is where the 2-lane turned into, the gravel road. Go down a gravel road, and there's, a trailer that we see coming up, single wide, had a carport with at the time, newer Corvette sitting in it. There was no door and no windows in this trailer, and people were inside watching TV.
Nice.
Go down the lane a little more. Another trailer. Nice car. I think it was something like a used Mustang looking thing. Something. This trailer on one end was on the ground. Like the frame had buckled. It was literally sitting on the ground. People inside watching TV and playing. So we're just in this part of Kentucky. Okay. Everybody's got the car. Nobody's got the house. No shelter for your kids. It's fine. We own a Corvette.
It's fine.
Yeah. So gravel eventually turns into dirt. Dirt becomes 1-lane dirt. And we end up on this ridge of this mountain where literally I'm looking on one side of the SUV as a wall going up. The other side is a cliff going down. And my first thought is, what if somebody comes the other direction? How do you traverse either one of you backwards or get around somebody? And we're passing little homestead and stuff kind of nestled into the side of this mountain. And my aunt points out the window and says, you see that little white building down there? And this thing is like a few 100 feet below us in the valley. Yeah, that's Aunt Ethel's church. I'm like, oh, we're going to be a minute. We're going down. We're not going down in the mountains. We're going down in between, in the butt crack of these mountains. So we get going, and as we get closer, you know, the homesteads, these people literally are building out over this cliff, like on stilts and things. There were dog houses carved into the mountain wall, and the dogs are just chained in the road. So you have to stop and wait for these dogs to go in their house before you can even pass. Right? So we finally get down to the church, and this is where it really started to get fun. My family, I kind of alluded to it before. We grew up on a tour bus way back in the day. My uncle, my family was in pretty successful Southern gospel group, and they can all sing really well. I went more of the musical route. I cannot sing very well. I started playing instruments instead, but we go in there and we get treated to a very down home funeral. This church is literally double doors, and when you walk in, there's a men's room on the left and a women's room on the right, and you're in the sanctuary. There's no offices, there's no nursery, nothing. So we go in there dressed kind of like I am today. I think I might have blue jeans on and a decent looking like t-shirt or polo, and I was the best dressed dude there. I looked like I came straight out of the highest of societies. Like I drove a Maserati every day. These folks, and God bless them, they put on their best, but it was the sight of deliverance. That kind of possum people. And we go in and sit down, and of course we're just kind of trying to be real quiet. We're there to support grandma, and grandma sits up towards the front, and we're in like the second, third rows. And then one of grandma's other relatives come in, and apparently she is quite the actress, because she came in head to toe in black, had the hat with the net over the face, hanky in hand. For like a half, I mean, the whole time she's walking in, she's grabbing each pew as she's walking, just screaming top of her lungs. And the church is seriously like, I mean, half the size of your basement. It's the tiniest little thing. So we get going, and the pastor gets talking, or before the pastor started, we also found out that literally, they had a wake, and what a wake was that means somebody had to stay there and guard the body, sleep in that little church in that valley down in BFE, Kentucky. And I said, why in the world, in a place that looks like nobody ever bothers anybody, would you have to guard the body? They said people will literally come in and try and steal everything off the body, clothes, jewelry, and maybe even the casket.
Really?
They've had problems with people coming in and trying to steal caskets if they know there's a dead body in there.
What the hell is wrong with people?
Yeah, that's where we were.
I thought a wake was more a party than a...
It might have been. I just called it a wake. I don't know what a wake is.
All right.
But anyway, they had a
wake is a party.
Okay, fine.
Instead of a funeral service or whatever,
this was
a party
somebody has
after
to stay here all night to make sure they don't steal Aunt Ethel's casket and clothes.
That's called guarding.
That's called standing guard. So I found that out. So this whole thing's already creepy. Weird aunt comes in screaming. We're trying not to laugh, you know. And that's all we know, even in bad situations, is sarcasm and humor. Well, the preacher gets up and starts talking about how he's known Ethel their whole lives, and he's a homely looking man, very humble and simple, soft spoken, and he alludes to some scripture and talks about how we are sheep and God is our shepherd. You know, he leads us beside still waters, and he says, you know, the reason that the Bible tells us we are sheep and God is our shepherd is because, you know, he leads us. We need to follow him. We need to be obedient, because sheep are dumb. Sheep are just stupid. Without a shepherd, they don't know what to do. They'll run off and get lost, get killed, jump off a cliff. That's why God is our shepherd. Without him, we're lost. And Ethel was a sheep. And that's where he ended it. After telling us how dumb sheep are, he ended with Ethel was a sheep.
Wow.
So we all bust out laughing. Well, then Vince Gill's way less talented third distant cousin gets up to sing Go Rest High on That Mountain with an out-of-tune guitar. And if I could replicate it for you, I can. But it was the most, picture one of the worst American Idol auditions. But the thing was, he was doing it from the bottom of his heart, and he was trying to choke back tears. And everybody else that was from there was all getting choked up by this. And we're in like the second, third pews of this little church, just, you know, I'm with my family that have been singing their whole life and singing well, you know, and been featured in certain, anyway. So afterwards we go load up Aunt Ethel, the sheep, in her casket. And everybody has to go back up that same mountain. So it takes another half hour, 40 minutes to get back to the top. We get back out to the gravel road, past the Corvette, back out to the 2-lane, and we're going to the old family homestead. Kind of cool. Let's see where some of my hillbilly ancestors are from, right? So we're driving in Uncle's Lexus, getting on another gravel road, which eventually leads us to another dirt road. And we're on this dirt road, and Mom's driving. She's following the procession, and all of a sudden she locks up the brakes. And we come to a not screeching halt because we're on dirt.
Well, right.
And I'm not paying attention.
If it did screech, I would. There's a serious problem.
Came to it, and I'm like, "What?" And she said, "There's water running down the road." And I went, "What?" And I lean over so I can look through the windshield, and there's like not just water running down the road. There was like a mass amount of water running towards us and then veering off. And it's at that moment we realized that you literally had to drive up a mountain riverbed to get to the old family homestead. Yeah.
I'm thoroughly confused at this point.
So picture yourself, you're driving down a mountain road.
Right.
Turns into dirt. Right?
Yep.
That dirt road literally dead ends at the creek where the hearse and everybody else has already started driving up the creek. So we're talking, I'd say probably 6 to 10 inches deep water running down over all the rocks, creating little rapids.
Yeah.
And where it came to meet the dirt road where we were stopped, it veered towards our left. It curved away from us and went right on down the mountain. So we literally, to get to the old family homestead, had to follow them. Now, mind you, go ahead.
No, I'm there. How the hell did she get to her homestead? Did she ride a horse?
Nope. You drove up this creek. They all had old pickup trucks or old SUVs.
How wide is the creek?
Oh, it's a mountain river stream. I mean, I'm talking.
How deep is it?
There is probably about, I'm going to guess off my memory, 6 inches deep, maybe 10. And it was probably a good 10 to 12 feet wide.
Okay.
So it's a big mountain, creek, stream, river runoff, you know. And we go driving up this thing, and it's just all signs of life disappear. We're just driving through a creek in the mountains, following Toyota Camrys and, you know, minivans.
I'd be more concerned about the Camrys and the other things don't have some sort of lift on them.
Right. When Mom first locked up the brakes on this, because she's like, you know, Tim just got this a week ago. I'm not driving this through a creek. I said, I took my seatbelt off. I said, I'll do it. I'm ready to go. Like, this is the kind of stuff you only see in commercials where it says, do not try this at home. And now they're telling us we have to do this.
And you're like, I'm doing it.
I'm like, I'll do it. So she eases it in, you know, and we coast up this creek, and we round a few curves to where you can't see anything else. I mean, we're just literally driving in a creek through the mountains, and all of a sudden you come around a bend and there's a pull off to a little plateau that's probably 15 feet above the creek bed itself, and there's a house. Not just a trailer, there's a whole house there. And you look up the hill, which again, it's a mountain. It's not just a little rolling hill like we have in Ohio.
Right.
It's up at a steep angle. There's a bunch of little old looking tombstones. So we pull out of the creek up onto the homestead, park by the playground set, which was one of those old metal swings that had been there for 40 years probably. And we all just look at each other. We get all the cars, and we're all from Columbus. You know, I'm born and raised in Columbus.
Right.
And, you know, I'm from Circleville at this point still. But, we all look at each other, and we just kind of don't know what to think. Now, they have, because this is a burial site for the family for generations, they had at some point put in concrete stairs after you already climb this little dirt path a little, which is very difficult. They put some concrete stairs up, and then there was a flat pad, sidewalk basically, on the side of this mountain, probably 20 feet long. And there's a metal rail, kind of like just the cast iron pipe rail on it.
So you don't fall off.
Right, pretty much. Because this mountain, I don't want to exaggerate. It was a good 35, 40 degree angle, I would guess. It was not. I mean, I'm going to put it to you this way: it's daggone ridiculous that anybody climbed this hill to bury a body. But when you live up a creek, literally, I guess there's nowhere else to put your dead people, except up halfway up the mountain. So we all climb up there.
I can think of places, but
just send them down the creek's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Put them in a pine box and let them float. They'll hit bigger water eventually. We'll pull them out there.
There's cremation.
I meant floating down the road, not the creek. The road. So we get out, and thankfully we were distant family. Nobody knew us, so we didn't have to be pallbearers and haul this casket with Aunt Ethel in it up to this place.
Yeah,
you're talking, I'm going to say a good 35, 40 yards up this mountain side, and they get her up there. Set the casket down, and it starts sleigh riding right on down. So they catch it, pull it back up, try and put a rock below it like it's going to stop this casket. Aunt Ethel's going for a ride.
They chuck the wheels.
So dude, if that thing had wheels, we could have rid it. Could have rid it straight on down that mountain.
We're gonna rid it on down.
So they get Aunt Ethel up there. After the casket slides twice, the pastor, who's apparently the only brains of the entire valley, says, "You know what? I'll just give the final passage reading and prayer,
and we'll let her go,
and I'll just see what happens." But he stood there and propped his foot up against it and turned around to read the Bible passage over his back to look at us, who are about 15 yards below him on this concrete pad, not leaning against this rail, because once we got up there, we realized this thing's pretty sketchy. This concrete doesn't feel real stable. So keep in mind, this whole time he's reading, Aunt Ethel's in the casket sitting at this angle, trying it's trying to shoot down the hill. Him and a couple pallbearers are keeping it from going. So he does the thing, and they say the prayer, and we're all sitting there. This whole entire day is just a day of, I can't believe it's going to get any more ridiculous. And here we end up with Aunt Ethel's casket, trying to, it kind of reminded me of like Macaulay Culkin trying to ride the sleigh out the front door.
Yeah, down the steps.
It's kind of that same angle and everything. So the pastor finishes. Well, of course, they've got to basically put the casket in the ground before anybody can leave.
Did they?
Oh, shovels and pickaxes
by hand.
Yep. Because you couldn't get equipment on that. I guarantee it.
They could have
shovel and pickaxe.
They could have flew it in.
Flew it in and dropped it where? It's not to climb that big old angle. Yeah, you're right. They could have. I'm just going to go ahead and guess they didn't have the funding to do that.
Figure it out. I don't know.
The fact that they literally live up a creek tells me they did not.
Or Schitt's Creek.
Right. Schmidt's Creek. Or they had more money we all know, and they're just the people that just didn't care. They're Beverly Hillbillies.
Underneath that mountain is all the gold.
Oh, the gold. They get excited when somebody dies so they can dig up more gold.
Right. So
they go to put Aunt Ethel on the ground. And remember the other crazy aunt I talked about before?
Yeah, the actress.
She's been wailing the whole time, right? So
still?
Oh, dude, it was a huge... And the thing was, I swear, it's like kind of one of the things you see in the movies where she turned around, put eye drops in her eyes, make it look like she was crying. It was like the
that's why she's wearing the veil, so she can't see what the hell's going on.
I'm like, we're sitting here like trying not to laugh because she's an older woman too. And she starts trying to walk off the concrete pad, which is not flat, but the flattest part on this mountain, and climbs up to where Aunt Ethel and the pastors are, in her heels and everything, heels, dress, and everything. And so I would guess the time she's in her upper 50s, probably.
So she wants to ride the casket down the hill,
right? She said, "You know what? I want to get one last good time with Aunt Ethel.
Yeah,
we're gonna ride this sucker down to the creek."
And you guys don't know it.
No, she gets up there and she starts talking to him. We're all like, "What the heck is she doing?" It took her 10 minutes to stumble up this mountain. We finally realized what she went up there for.
She was like, so when you go to do this, I just want to go ahead and so.
Did you find the gold?
Pass me the gold. I want put the pouch in my pocket. The guys are.
Yeah, that would have made more sense to me. You know what she really wanted? She wanted to say goodbye to Aunt Ethel one more time. She asked them to open a casket that Aunt Ethel's lifeless body had been in. And not only, when a body dies, it tends to get a little lifeless and just kind of does what it does.
Yeah, it's called rigor mortis.
Well, this casket has been sitting at this steep angle for, 15 minutes. They pop open the casket, and she about faints because Aunt Ethel slumped down in the bottom. The body slid down. So what they do with all their tact, one of the funeral director dudes got up under Aunt Ethel's arms and hoisted the body up back towards the top of the casket and stretched it out so Crazy Aunt could say goodbye one last time. And when he let her go, right back towards the bottom of the casket. They shut the lid, dragged that thing into the hole, and I about fell outside the mountain when that happened. Man, they opened that up, and all you see is you remember on Home Improvement where Wilson was always above the fence?
Yeah,
that's like all you see of Aunt Ethel's when they open the casket. It's like the top of her head. Oh, but that's my favorite funeral I've ever been to.
Wow,
it was just one massive. You're talking about curveballs. It's if I hadn't been there, I would never have believed it happened that way. And I'm sure I'm forgetting parts. It was to this day we talk about this, and we will joke within our family anytime anybody says anything or preaches or sees a sheep or anything. Ethel was a sheep.
There's Ethel.
Ethel was a sheep. Sheep are stupid.
I'm a little speechless.
Like I told you, it was a good story. Doesn't it sound funny?
I want to be there. Like, I want a DeLorean and a flux capacitor.
Dude, if I'd have known all that was happening, and this was back before we had phones that took good videos and stuff, oh my gosh, I would have filmed the whole thing. It's when they open that casket. Oh man, it made me bad to laugh at.
Once the casket's closed, like
leave it shut.
It's shut.
You're done.
That's it. Like, most funeral directors won't even open.
Have they seen The Mummy? Do they know what happens when you open a casket?
It comes back out.
Right.
And it's not there to give you a hug.
Curses happen.
It's to
now
haunt
she's going to be haunted by Aunt Ethel the rest of her life, but Aunt Ethel's ghost is even slunched down over because that's how her body is resting forever.
That is...
Rip in peace, Aunt Ethel. Rip in peace.
Wow.
Yep, that's my funeral story. I told you it was a good one.
That is a good one. That is good. I don't have any good funeral stories. All of mine they are not good.
Yeah,
they are.
All of my other ones aren't good.
They are not.
That's why this one's my favorite.
Palatable.
Yeah.
As I said earlier.
Well, opening a casket of somebody that's been at about a 40-degree angle for 15 minutes isn't palatable.
No, that's...
FYI.
That's not...
I wish we had pictures or video.
That's not good. So, on to the next.
What are we following that with?
Yeah, well, about the only thing you can follow that with is something that chaps your cheeks.
Oh man, I've been taking notes. Usually I just come in. You and I are both angry about something any given day,
right?
But I have one. I talked to my buddy. He's a friend of mine. And one of the things that has really gotten to me as I've gotten older, everybody will deny it and everybody will joke about it because I do, but I have a lot of friends.
I have not a lot of friends.
Then you probably have not had this problem.
You'd be surprised.
Excuse me. Well, you have lots of problems, but maybe not this one. But one of my biggest, the things that chaps my cheeks is being asked to be in a wedding. The older I get, the less I want to be in your wedding.
Oh, I don't have that problem.
I don't care whose it is. I have been the best man in, I think, 4 or 5 weddings, and I've been in a groomsman of probably, or junior groomsmen or whatever, probably 25 more. Now, when I was a kid, it wasn't that big a deal. But now I got to pay for all my own stuff. And I get asked to go to a wedding. I had a buddy, had to go to his wedding. I was up where he lived 2 hours north of here, which means I got to drive up,
right? Get
a hotel. Because the night before you do the thing, or it's like 2.5 hours, you do the rehearsal, you do the dinner, you get up, you have the wedding. Well, I was also the best man in that wedding. I became responsible for not getting everybody's suits, but returning them all. So I had to rent a tux, drive up there, spend all the gas, pay for a hotel room, do the whole party thing, make sure everything went good because I was the best man or whatever.
Yep.
Which I didn't do that great a job, really. I just don't care that much about stupid stuff. And I had to take everybody else's tux back. Okay, cool. You know, I care about you so much. I want you to be my best man. You are one of my best friends. I want you there on my special day. Now I'm out of pocket hundreds of dollars. So, unfortunately, he ends up getting divorced a year later. About a year after that, I get a call. Hey, so-and-so and I are getting married. I want you in the wedding. I got to do it all again, but this time in Cincinnati, and pay for everything again. So I told him when I was on the phone with him this past week, we were joking back and forth, and I said, no, I had to go through this crap with you twice. I don't owe you crap. I'm not doing it anymore. So anytime people ask me to be in a wedding now, the only thing I think of is how much is it going to cost me? Let me show up. I'll bring you a gift, which is fine. I don't mind spending money. It's not about the money so much, but it's a lot about the money.
It's about time.
It's
time.
Let's be honest. It's time. The less I care about all the traditional BS. We had a wedding, but it was very simple, and I let Beth get everything she wanted, and it was easy. We did the rehearsal and the wedding the same day. It's don't ask me to be in a wedding. I love you to death. That's fine. You can be my best friend. You can be my cousin, my brother. I don't care who you are. I do not want to pay hundreds of dollars for you to get up there, listen to a song, say I do, put a ring on somebody's finger, and then we all go eat.
Kiss and then go eat.
Yeah. Let me come to your wedding. I'll spend more money on a cooler gift for you.
Right.
Which in the end will be better.
Matter of fact, better yet, take my advice, just elope.
Right. And don't call it a destination wedding. Make everybody go with you.
Right.
You go out there and do your thing.
You go out and do your thing and then come back and tell everybody how great it was.
Feed me. I'll show up and eat
and then have a party.
Shrimp.
Come back and have a party.
That's fine. All for that.
Like that is.
I know somebody that did that. They got married.
To do that.
They got married and then they had a big old reception and it was awesome.
That's what I wanted to do.
We all showed up. We ate. We gave them gifts. We did the dancing. It was like 2 weeks after they got married. We did all the traditional cutting of the wedding cake. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. Yeah. I loved it.
That's the way that's the way it needs to be done. So,
the problem is
I've never been a groomsman. I've never been best man, and I haven't been in anybody's wedding.
See, you haven't had this problem.
I don't have that problem because I don't have any friends. Other than
I need
you.
less friends. Well, we're not friends. We're kind of co-hosts.
Okay. Well, we're co-workers at this point.
We need to keep professional.
We're professional,
Mr.
fucker. So it is. I don't like when Liz and I got married. I was pushing and pushing and pushing for. If we're gonna do this, like
the girls want their wedding.
I don't want a traditional wedding. Like I don't care about going to the church and doing this and doing that. I said, I got a better idea. Let's go someplace nice, like the beach, like somewhere in the Caribbean. I said, we'll fly your mom down. We'll fly your dad, your stepmom, your stepdad. We'll fly my dad down. We'll fly my grandmother down, your grandmother, blah, 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 blah. Anybody that we deem of importance.
Right.
We'll fly them down. They can come down for 3 days. We'll go down for a week and a half or 2 weeks, and that'll be it. And then we'll come back and have a reset. We'll have a party.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm like, no, that's what we should do. Well, no, we're not doing that. We're having a traditional wedding. We're going to spend $1,800,000, and we're going to do it this way. I'm like, and then we're never going to look at the pictures. We're never going to watch the video, and it's going to be like
wedding day comes and goes so fast you don't remember it.
I don't remember my wedding day. I remember drinking 8 bottles of beer, but only having a drink out of each bottle. I got pulled in so many different directions that I would get a bottle of beer. I would take a drink. I would sit it down, and I would be off to the next thing.
Yeah.
I remember my brother coming in, who is not technically my brother. Sorry, Mike. You're my brother from another mother.
That's why you're not invited.
You're invited to whatever. But I remember my brother Mike coming in with my sister with a baseball hat on, and like those two coming in dancing like when they were introduced, and then at some point him asking Liz for permission to change because he is not a tuxedo person.
Yeah.
Like, can I please go put on jeans?
Like anything but a tuxedo?
Like, I'm like, dude, go.
Now, see, our wedding was great because we wanted to get married on 05/05/05. So that was our plan. Beth went and found the dress she wanted. I don't know where she got it at. Don't care. Didn't go with her. None of that. New, $250. Cool.
Sweet.
When we went to pick out the ring, I let her pick out her engagement wedding band long before I proposed.
I did the same thing.
We took her. I had her try on this 1-carat diamond ring that was like thousands of dollars. Well, she has a 4.5 size ring, like her ring finger. She has tiny hands. It looked fake. even though it was like thousands of dollars. So she finally found one she wanted, and the engagement ring was this little, it's like, I call it the football shape. I think it's called the princess cut.
Yeah, I think so. Who knows?
It's a football shaped diamond. It's the cleanest diamond we could buy, but because it was so small, the ring with the wedding band, which had 5 other of the highest grade diamonds you can get, I think we spent $300 on the whole set. So we're into this thing for $550 for her ring and dress. I tell her, we talk about where we want to go. We decide we didn't want to have it at the church I grew up in or the church she grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
She finds Alley Park outside of Lancaster here.
Yeah.
Down 33.
Yep.
It's got a covered bridge. It's got a big giant lodge with a big stone hearth fireplace, and the whole thing's windows that overlooks a lake. She decides she wants to get married at the covered bridge, have everybody just sit amongst the trees in the trail.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the reception inside. Well, to do that, you have to rent the park. They close it down for that day. Well, we decided we still want to get married on the 5th. Well, 050505 was booked up for some school thing. And because it's a state park, schools get priority and all this.
Stupid schools.
Yeah, we just looked for another date.
Stupid educations.
So we end up settling on 6/9 of 05. So it happened to be a Thursday. 050505 was a Thursday. I said, let's just keep it Thursday. Who gets married on a Thursday?
Right.
Well, it's kind of inconvenient for people come from Columbus, but it's like you get off work, you drive down. So for one day, we got the site for $250 for the whole day for where we're getting married and our reception. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So we all come down. Grandpa caters a brunch for the rehearsal. He does all his homemade, the same grandpa that we went to Kentucky with. He did the biscuits and gravy and did the bacon and the sausage and the hash browns. He makes the most awesome, amazing cat head biscuits and red eye gravy. That's what Beth wanted for her brunch. He said, you buy the food, we'll do it all for free.
Nice.
Nothing. Fed everybody, both sides of the family, my family, her family, everything. Well, my grandpa, that from my dad's side, so she went to officiate. He did it for free, would not let us pay him. We ended up buying him a gift, but
yeah,
no money there. For dinner, she had I think it was her mom and grandma's do all the cooking. That's what she wanted. She wanted some of her favorite meals, and it was all good home style food.
Right.
Instead of salmon and shrimp, which is I've been to some really high end weddings. I'm not going to complain about the food that they pay for because it's amazing. But Beth just wanted. I kept telling her, I'm going to save up. Like for the ring, I saved up I think $3,400 for the ring. Something silly. Get what you want. I think our whole wedding, all said and done, cost us under a couple grand. Everybody had a great time. Everybody loved where it was. It was different. Best part was the groomsmen. We all went out and got, we rented black pants. We all went to, I think JCPenney, bought white button-up shirts, no tie, rolled up the cuffs. We rented pants and shoes. Rented, I think cost everybody like $30-$40 each.
That's easy.
We all, and then she had, this will date us a little. Speaking of back in 05, and it was probably out of date then, all the groomsmen wore white puka shell necklaces.
Oh, Lord.
And mine was purple because the bridesmaid dresses were purple.
That's way outdated.
Oh, yeah.
By a good 6 or 7 years.
Oh, probably. But hey, that's what she wanted. I got out of that whole wedding for under a couple grand. She was extremely happy. We still talk about it to this day. People ask us where to have a wedding. I don't know if it's still $250, being 13 years later.
Right.
But it was a great place. It was a nice, cool day. We were in the shade. Everybody loved. You're overlooking a lake, on this big lodge. It's cool.
We had none of that.
And you paid way more for it.
And I paid way more for it.
You lost
way more. Like Randy, way more. Matter of fact, my message to everybody listening: don't get married. It's your funeral.
And it won't be a funny funeral either.
And it won't be a funeral like Randy's.
Oh, man. No, we did good. But the whole just being invited to weddings, here's the thing. Invite people you hate to be in your wedding.
Yeah.
Make them travel, make them pay, and then just throw a party for your friends.
Right.
If you really love somebody, I get it. It's like, I want them to be there for me on my special day.
They don't want to be there for you.
They shouldn't have to pay $800 to stand on the stage.
And they don't want to be there for you.
Just reserve them a seat up front.
Yeah.
Have
them send you cash or gift cards. Don't make them come. Invite the people you don't like. That way they show up. Give them your registry.
Right.
With the expensive shit on it.
Go buy me this.
Like the Dyson vacuums and the
new
microwaves
house.
And the everything else. And the Kentucky Owl bourbon, because that's like $300 a bottle. Kentucky out bourbon. It's stupid expensive.
Well, $300 is stupid expensive
for bourbon. Yeah, it's more than I'll spend.
Well, yeah, for bourbon. That's what I meant. I didn't mean for like a vehicle.
Well, it's even expensive for a vacuum cleaner. Invite the people you don't like and have them just show up and have them buy the expensive stuff off your registry. The people you like, just have them send money. Don't have them show up to the wedding and then throw a party for them later. I don't even care
if they show up as long as they're not driving 14 hours to do it. I'll go sit in a chair for 15 minutes for somebody.
I don't expect anybody to show up, come 30 minutes from someplace for something that I'm doing.
I do that every week.
I know, and I don't expect you to show up.
Oh, well, that's good. I exceed expectations. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Right. So, anything else? What do you got?
Oh, for chest. Oh, dude. Yeah. The other one, this goes back to the funeral thing. And it kind of sparked it again when Beth's grandma passed away a couple months ago. One of the things that drives me nuts is whether it's said at a funeral or it's said when somebody finds out they have cancer or whatever. When people say, I know what you're going through, when they're trying to console you, when you're going through some real heavy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A parent died, a kid died, a friend died, or it's the anniversary of that. And when somebody, the first time, I was really young when I first noticed it, mid-teens. And it might have been when my grandma died. People that had not been through what I'd been through would come up to me and say these things like, I know what you're going through. But they haven't been through it. And they would say things, another one that irks me, and again, I grew up in the church, grew up on a Southern Gospel bus. I cannot stand it when people say God needed another angel when somebody dies. And what pisses me off about that is that's kind of implying that God would rather that person not be with you.
Then, yeah.
And God doesn't need more angels in heaven. Quit saying that.
That phrase, like, one, I know I know what you're going through, because no, you don't.
Right.
I
haven't gone through that.
Well, so just throw a scenario out of like when my mother passed away and somebody else's mother passed away, like I know exactly what you're going through. No, your mother passing away and my mother passing away and what I'm going through and what you are going through are two completely different things.
Like, well, people handle it differently.
Yeah, exactly. Differently. So you have no idea what I'm going through.
I mean, if versus everything say, hey, I know it's a hard time for you.
Right.
That I could kind of understand. You're acknowledging that I'm going through some stuff right now.
Right. So that's a better way to handle that situation. Saying, oh, I know exactly what you're going through. Motherfucker, you have no idea. Two, God needed another angel. Okay, if that's the case, you need kicked in the nuts. Or the cooch. Doesn't matter. I don't care who you are. But the other one that I hate is when someone passes away. Wow, this is a really dark. We're doing a really dark episode. This one.
We are.
I hate the question. Well, how are you doing?
Yeah, peachy.
Oh,
thanks for asking.
Hey, I'm fantastic. How do you think I'm doing? I'm living life. I'm on the top of a roller coaster, getting ready to come down. Can't wait.
Yeah, I would like to think that most people that say these or have said these things,
intentions.
They're really trying to console you. But when Beth and I we lost two daughters, we had two miscarriages. The first one messed her up bad. The second one really messed me up bad. I held a child that at birth was at 16 weeks. She went into labor. Long story short, I held this baby that when birth was alive,
right,
but obviously did not make it very long. And I was sitting here holding this tiny child, fingers, toes, everything. And somebody said, people were trying to obviously with the best intentions, and some people that I know don't mean bad, but I was getting some of that from some of them, not all of them. But if you haven't lost a child, don't tell somebody who has lost a child you know what they're going through. Or the one that really it pissed me off, and it's pissed me off to even think about it, was that God needed another angel thing. Because we struggled to even have kids. The fact that we had Huck is a miracle, and that's another story I can get into another time. But it just drives me up the wall, because that is implying that God, whether you believe in him or not, we're just going to, for the sake of this show, we're going to say that God gave us a blessing and then ripped it away from us for his own selfish benefits, and that's not the way God works.
Right.
whether you are a practicing Christian or not, or you just believe that Jesus was a prophet that existed or a great guy that walked around and helped people, whatever, I don't care. Don't go tell people God need another angel or they're in heaven, especially if you're not a believer.
Right.
Because that's just empty words.
Just worse. That just makes things.
Yeah, you're not helping anybody. So those are things that chapped my cheeks, that popped in my head the past couple of weeks, was the being invited to a wedding, especially if you have to go back and do it again. That was kind of a humorous take on it. And then when people are going through stuff, man, you know what? Tell your friends, tell your loved ones, hey, I know what you're going through. You need somebody to talk to. You want to hang out. Invite them out for pizza. Get a pineapple pizza.
Yeah, get them Hawaiian pizza from
Hawaiian
last
pizza
episode.
or something. But yeah, it's just anyway. That's what chaps my cheeks. Now that this has been a roller coaster of an episode.
Yeah, we're all over the place with this one. All right, we will end it with that. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check us out on Podbean,
YouTube.
We're
on
Spotify.
YouTube. Subscribe. Please subscribe,
people. Leave reviews.
It helps us so much. Just get seen.
It does. Absolutely. Share it with your friends. Share it with family. Share it with someone you don't like. Share it with someone you do like. Share it with your dog, your cat, your neighbor. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Just hit the share button. You don't even have to type anything out. Just hit share now. That's
share
it on Facebook. Just share it. That's all I ask. That's all Randy asked. Just hit the fucking share button.
We're not asking you to be in our weddings.
I'm definitely not asking you to be in a wedding. I'm not asking you to bury me on a mountainside. All I'm asking is hit the share button. Just hit the share button.
Ethel was a sheep.
She was. She was a follower. Be a follower. Hit the share button.
Be a sheep. Hit the share.
Hit that sheeple. Be the sheeple and hit that share button.
Oh, man. Anyway, we appreciate it. Those of you listening, giving us feedback. We love y'all.
I'm Martelle for Randy. This is the Buckle One Podcast, and we out.
Peace.